My job is to be here to provide advice and counsel to the president. Drones up, filming everything. Assault force goes in. There's Baghdadi, and they're like, oh yeah, he's in there. He's got a suicide vest on. Got 3 women with him that are also his wives, one of which was like 14. He has a suicide vest on, and you know what happens with suicide vests? The dude's head's gonna pop off, right? To put some commandos in here to dig him out and kill his ass. Because this was the most flawless operation that I've ever seen conducted. Chairman, do you want to know what the task force name was? They named it after Kalen Mueller.
That's amazing.
Is that cool?
That is amazing.
We will hunt you to the end of the earth. When the United States decides to open the can of whoop ass, this is no joke. Let's just accept up front that we're going to destroy a generation of people.
You start to realize this is a fucking business. That's when I started to realize a lot of this is bullshit.
My job is to be here to provide advice and counsel to the president if he asks. And so I thought that was a hell of a presidential decision, because he knew the decision calculus on that. He knew this whole thing could go bad, really, really, like epically bad, like Desert One in Iran in 1979. You know, that bad, like that can ruin, you know, that can end your presidency, right?
Yeah.
And he made the call to go ahead and execute, because the other one was like, why don't we just put missile strike in on it? Heck with it. And we're like, no, we got to know we got the guy. Because in this era of information warfare, like they're still arguing about if so-and-so's still alive, you know? We're like, no, we need to go, like, we need to have some his flesh to do DNA testing on. Off goes the assault force. You got your drones up, filming everything. Assault force goes in, lands. And here's the other one. Did you ever do call outs? Like, remember in our day, you just went in and just like blew down the door, assaulted the house or building, didn't give any warning. Well, during the course of the war, as the situations changed, they did a call out, meaning the assault force surrounded the house. Dude with a micro, you know, what do you call it? A
bullhorn or something.
Bullhorn is like, hey, you're surrounded. Come out with your hands up. And lo and behold, like a bunch of women and kids start streaming out. Like I can't remember how many, like 20 of them come streaming out of this house. Translators and interpreters are like, what's going on? It's Baghdadi, and they're like, oh yeah, he's in there. He's in there. He's got a suicide vest on, and he's got 3 women with him that are also his wives, one of which was like 14 or something. You know, can you believe this? Can you believe that crap?
I mean, I believe it now because the shit's going on right here in the home front, you know?
Man.
It's getting, well, that's another conversation.
Do the call out. They're like, he's in there. Okay, well, we're going to go get time to dig him out. And they send the dog in. They sent, no, I think they sent a robot in first. You know, oh, he's here. He had built out like a fighting position slash safe room in the back. They're like, oh no, he's here. And yeah, there are 3 women here. And the only way we're going to get this done is going to have to put some commandos in here to dig him out and kill his ass, right? And so then...
What unit is this?
This is the Army.
Okay.
Did you see me wink? This is the Army counterterrorism element that remains nameless, that you all know. And you can say it, but I can't say it. And you've had many of their members on your show before.
Yeah.
Because they were the task force that was in Syria, Iraq at the time.
Okay.
So they did the operation. And we're all watching the screen, you know, and you know how watching ISR is. It's kind of like murky and you can't really tell what's going on. But you can see it's game on time. You can see the explosions, boom, boom, boom. You're sitting there like, what's going on? But you don't want to ask because you know they're busy. And I got to tell you this, President, Vice President, Milley, senior military leadership were all extremely, you know, patient. Because there's nothing worse. Remember when you're getting yelled at by your boss? You're like, hey, I'm working right now. I'll give you a situation report. When it's done, stop bothering me. I was really impressed that nobody put any stress on. You can see explosions going off, and you're like, oh man, this is the fatal funnel, you know. Nothing we can do about it. Let's see what happens. About not too much later, the report comes back. Yep, suspect or whatever, you know, the target detonated himself, and we're now going to collect DNA to see if it was him. And
did you say we're now going to collect, or we are not going?
We are. They are. And then I'm flashing back to like the poor kid who's on sensitive site exploitation, right? He's like, I got to go in there. And he has a suicide vest on. And you know what happens with suicide vests? The dude's head's going to pop off, right? Remember? I tell in my book the story. I had a buddy next to me who was flashing back to being in Iraq when he had to go find the head. And of course, I know what's going on. Like, okay, they're going to find the head. They're going to do the forensics, and they're going to do the biometrics, and they'll look at the distance between the eyes, the ears, you know, all that crap. But you got to find the head first. And I'm just sitting there going, oh man, can you imagine that kid in there with this surefire, smoke billowing, probably fire going on, looking for the guy's head. And the task force commander, the ground force commander, really was impressive that he would not, they call it, you know, calling jackpot indicating that the target that you were going after is either captured or killed. And he would not call jackpot, even though we know it's Baghdadi, right? It's like not calling jackpot. Finally, the 4-star commander that's overseeing the operation, this guy's General McKenzie, he calls and goes, ground force commander is not going to call jackpot right now, but he assesses with a strong degree of confidence that the target has been killed. And at that point, you know, you're like, oh man. Thing gets done, president leaves, I'm not leaving, Milley's not leaving, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, because we're like, they're still on target, man. Oh, and then gunfights start blowing up all around, right? Because it's the classic, wow, something's going on. So things are heating up, right? Mm-hmm. Gunships are making gun runs now. And the president's like, what's going on here? We're like, Mr. President, there's a gunfight going on right now. Go, okay. So.
Is that what he said? Okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay, all right. Then because we're not going to leave until the task force is back in friendly territory, because there's a lot of bad stuff can still happen. So pretty much everybody's gone. I'm there, Milley's there, maybe a couple other people. President's gone, vice president's gone, Secretary of Defense is gone. All these people have gone because it's like, mission over, see you later. I'm like, yeah, they're still on target, you know. And because there's still some, you know, for us, there's still tension. Everybody, people that don't know about operations are like, whatever, high five on the way.
Yeah, we want to see our guys come home.
Right. So Milley and I are there, and casualty report comes in. One assaulter had stepped on a nail that had gone through his boot. That was the only casualty.
That's it.
And I said,
amazing.
I said, the American public, I'm worried because this was the most flawless operation that I've ever seen conducted. And the American public now is going to come to expect that level of performance, which is so hard to achieve in the military, right? Mm-hmm. Fog friction. And they got it done. It came back, and we're shutting it down. And everybody, all the commanders and the military people now are like, you know, the tension is, and it's not euphoric, but everybody's kind of, you know, becoming friendly because we went through this together. And McKenzie, the 4-star general that oversaw the operation from Tampa, calls in to Milley, who's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's advising the president. He's only a couple of us left. And he goes, Chairman, do you want to know what the task force name was? Because usually they just come up with some bullshit number, right? Task Force 52-9 or whatever the hell it was. We're like, yeah, sure. They go, they named it after Kalen Mueller.
No kidding. That's amazing.
Is that cool?
That is amazing.
They're like, justice will be served, man. Don't be fucking with the United States. I mean, come on, Shawn. Like, what was that guy thinking? Like, he thought he was going to get away with this crap. Like, we will hunt you to the end of the earth. It might take us 25, 30 damn years, man. I don't understand why our enemies think that. And I know there's this narrative now, like, oh, we're soft. Anybody who believes that crap, and there's a lot of reasons they could believe it, man, I don't know. You put an American fighting man pissed off, I'll go with him any day, man. That guy, I'd love to. Bin Laden thought the same thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, they're soft. They won't fight. I wonder what he'd say now, man. We will hunt your ass to the end of the earth, man.
I mean, why do you think people think that?
Yeah, we could go on all day. We give them plenty of reasons to think it, don't we?
Yeah.
Their constant babble about stupid stuff, and we give them plenty of information that would support their conclusion that somehow, we've lost our martial spirit, or, man, how many people have made that mistake?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it comes from, we saw a lot of it in this war, these last two wars, and prosecuting our own guys for doing their job.
That's the other thing, man. With only 7, I think most people that have served, when they heard those stories, like, yeah, that's the nature of war. That happens. It's, I still can't tell a lot of those stories exactly what happened, but that's my thing. Is like, hey, when we open the can of whoop ass, when the United States decides to open the can of whoop ass, this is no joke.
Yeah.
And bad things are going to happen. People are going to be injured or killed. Innocents are going to be killed. Families are going to be destroyed, man. Like, destroyed. Because like, deploying over and over again, that just destroys marital relationships. Pathologies come out from all of that stress that is completely predictable. And that's why we have to take going to war a hell of a lot more seriously, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And I'm good with going to war, don't get me wrong. But let's just accept up front that we're going to destroy a generation of people. That's my thing. And if it's worth it, let's do it. This was worth it. Afghanistan was worth it. You think?
I think in the beginning stages it was.
Yeah, we should have left.
I do. I think in the beginning stages it was, and then, and then exactly what you say, the PXs started getting built, Burger King showed up.
Yeah.
Green Bean Coffee showed up, Pizza Hut
One at the
showed
Nashville
up.
airport. I chuckled when I came in yesterday. It's like, Green Bean's here.
And then you start to realize this is a fucking business.
Yeah.
This isn't war. This is a fucking business.
It's a business.
Well, this is war made to conduct business.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started to realize a lot of this is fucking bullshit.